I'm Davis Wheeler, 32 years old, and I've always believed family meant something. Growing up in a small Connecticut town, I watched my parents prioritize every milestone in my sister Heather's life while treating mine as afterthoughts. Still, when my wedding day arrived, I expected at least my father to keep his promise to be there. The empty seats where my family should have been told a different story. Before I continue, drop a like, subscribe, and let me know where you're watching from as I reveal what happened next. The first time I introduced Amanda Turner to my parents was at a backyard barbecue 3 summers ago. We'd been dating for almost a year at that point, and I was certain she was the one. Amanda walked into my parents' colonial-style home with a homemade apple pie, and her infectious laugh ready to charm everyone she met. My mother Linda barely looked up from arranging napkins when we arrived, and my father Richard gave a distracted handshake before returning to his grill. Meanwhile, my sister Heather commanded the attention of every guest with stories about her new job at a prestigious marketing firm in Boston. That day summarized my entire childhood in a 3-hour event. Growing up in Millfield, Connecticut, population 8,423, I was the firstborn, but never the first priority. My parents, Richard and Linda Wheeler, built their world around my younger sister Heather from the moment she arrived 4 years after me. I tried convincing myself it was just because she was the baby of the family, or maybe because she was their only daughter. But as years passed, the pattern became impossible to ignore. When I graduated high school with honors, my parents attended for exactly 27 minutes before leaving early to catch Heather's dance recital. My valedictorian speech was delivered to an audience missing the 2 people I'd written it for. "They're really sorry," Davis Heather said afterward, not looking particularly sorry herself. "But this recital determines who gets the solo in the regional competition." During my sophomore year of college, I received a prestigious engineering scholarship. I called home immediately, and my mother promised a celebration dinner that weekend. When I arrived home, I found the dinner canceled because Heather had broken up with her boyfriend and needed emotional support. We ordered pizza instead, which grew cold as my parents spent the evening consoling Heather on the couch while I sat alone at the dining table. Even after landing my first engineering job at a respected firm in Hartford, my celebration dinner ended up being a monologue about Heather's internship prospects. My father raised a toast, saying, "To Davis's new job, and hopefully, Heather will have even bigger news soon." I remember staring into my glass watching the bubbles rise, and wondering if I'd ever rise high enough in their eyes to be seen. Despite this lifelong pattern, some stubborn part of me held on to hope. Each disappointment was followed by a period of distance, then a small gesture from my parents that would reignite my optimism. A birthday card with an actual personal message. A phone call that lasted more than 5 minutes. These crumbs of attention kept me coming back, believing that someday I might earn the place in their hearts that had always seemed reserved for Heather. Meeting Amanda changed everything. Her family welcomed me immediately, no audition required. Her parents, Tom and Susan Turner, invited me for weekly Sunday dinners. Her brothers teased me good-naturedly and included me in their fantasy football league. For the first time, I experienced what unconditional family acceptance felt like. "Your parents are just different people," Amanda would say, when I'd compare our families. "Not everyone shows love the same way." Her generosity extended even to those who had given me so little. When I decided to propose to Amanda after 3 years together, I called my parents first. My mother answered with Heather chattering in the background. "Mom, I have news. I'm going to ask Amanda to marry me this weekend." A pause. "Oh, well, that's certainly. Have you thought this through completely?" "Yes, for about a year now," I replied, the excitement in my voice already dimming. "Well, if you're sure. Hold on, Heather wants to say something." My sister's voice came through. "Congrats, bro. Just make sure you don't do it at Riverside Park. That's where Jake is planning to propose to me in the spring." I hadn't planned to propose there, but the assumption that I might copy my sister's not yet existent engagement stung nonetheless. After Amanda said yes during a sunset hike up Mount Richardson, I called my parents again. This time, my father answered. She said yes. I told him, unable to keep the joy from my voice. "That's wonderful, son," he said, and for once he sounded genuinely pleased. "Your mother and I are happy for you." That small moment of connection expanded into something unexpected when he added, "When the time comes, I'd be honored to walk with you down the aisle." Father of the groom doesn't get many special moments, but that one belongs to us. His words brought tears to my eyes. For once I was being offered something that wasn't an afterthought. Amanda and I began wedding planning immediately. We set a date for the following spring, giving us plenty of time to arrange everything. My mother participated in early discussions with polite interest, though she often redirected conversations to other topics. 2 months after our engagement announcement, Heather called me directly, which was unusual enough to make me worry. "Davis, I have massive news," she gushed. "I'm pregnant, Jake, and I found out yesterday." "That's amazing, Heather," I said sincerely. "Congratulations. How are you feeling?" Mom and Dad are over the moon. Dad actually cried when we told them. Can you believe it? They're already talking about converting the home office into a nursery for when we visit. I'd never seen my father cry, not even when his own father passed away. The revelation settled uncomfortably as I offered more congratulations. Within days, my parents' tepid excitement about my engagement was completely overshadowed by their unbridled joy about becoming grandparents. Every call home was dominated by updates on Heather's pregnancy symptoms and my parents' preparations for their future grandchild. Amanda noticed my disappointment, but encouraged patience. This is new territory for them, their first grandchild. Our wedding will get more attention as it gets closer. I wanted to believe her. When the pattern continued for weeks, then months, I struggled with my conflicting emotions. I was genuinely happy for my sister, while simultaneously hurt by my continued secondary status in the family hierarchy. Am I a terrible person for feeling jealous? I asked Amanda one night after another phone call dominated by Heather's pregnancy updates. No, Amanda said, firmly taking my hand. You're human. Your feelings are valid, Davis. But don't give up on them yet. Keep trying. If it doesn't work out, you still have me and my family adores you. Her words comforted me, but a voice inside warned that my family history was repeating itself in a new variation. Still, I held on to hope that my wedding day would be different. Amanda and I found our dream venue at Oak Ridge Farm, a renovated 19th century estate with sprawling gardens and a charming white gazebo overlooking a small lake. The moment we walked the grounds, we knew it was perfect. Your family will love this place, Amanda said, squeezing my hand as we stood on the patio where our reception would be held. I nodded, trying to picture my parents and sister there genuinely happy for us. The image was harder to conjure than I wanted to admit. We secured our date 6 months in advance, May 12th, and sent save-the-date cards to everyone with formal invitations to follow. I hand-delivered my parents' card during a Sunday visit. May 12th, my mother mused, placing the card on the refrigerator without securing it with a magnet. That should work, though. Heather will be in her 3rd trimester by then. We picked a venue that's only a 20-minute drive from your house, I pointed out, and we made sure there's comfortable seating for everyone. My father patted my shoulder. Looking forward to it, son. Remember what I said about walking with you. That brief acknowledgement carried me through weeks of minimal engagement from my family. I called regularly with updates, but conversations remained short and distracted. My mother declined to join Amanda, and her mother for dress shopping, citing a hair appointment she couldn't reschedule. When asked about suit preferences for the father of the groom, my dad simply said, "Whatever you think is best." 3 months before the wedding, we sent formal invitations. I included handwritten notes in my family's invitations, emphasizing how much their presence would mean to us. Days passed without acknowledgement, then weeks. "Did you get our wedding invitation?" I finally asked my mother during a phone call. "Oh yes, it's lovely. We have it right here on the counter." "So, will you be attending?" I prompted after an awkward silence. She laughed as if I'd said something absurd. "Of course we'll be there, Davis. It's your wedding." The response should have reassured me, but something in her tone left me uneasy. I decided to visit my parents in person to discuss the details. When I arrived at their home one Sunday afternoon in March, I found my mother and sister poring over baby catalogs at the kitchen table. My father was watching golf in the living room. "Davis," my mother exclaimed, "we weren't expecting you." "I wanted to talk about the wedding," I said, taking a seat at the table. "It's coming up in less than 2 months, and we need to finalize some details." My sister rubbed her growing belly. "The doctor says I need to be careful about stress and long events. I might need to leave the reception early." "That's fine," I assured her. "We just want you there for the important parts." My mother frowned slightly. "Heather's been having some complications. Her blood pressure has been concerning." "I'm sorry to hear that," I said genuinely. "Is there anything I can do?" "Just understand if things don't go exactly as planned," my father called from the living room. "Family health comes first." The comment stung. Of course it does. But the wedding is just one day, and it's been on the calendar for months. Heather sighed dramatically. "I can't help the timing, Davis. It's not like I got pregnant just to steal your thunder." The defensive response to an accusation I hadn't made left me speechless. Later that afternoon, as I was leaving, I overheard my mother on the phone. "Yes, for the baby shower. May 12th would be perfect. Most of the family will be in town that weekend anyway for." "Well, yes, there is a conflict, but we can make it work." My stomach dropped. I confronted her immediately. "Mom, did I hear correctly? Are you planning Heather's baby shower on my wedding day?" She had the decency to look embarrassed. "Not exactly on your wedding day, just the same weekend. Heather's friends are organizing it. They picked the date." "But you just said May 12th would be perfect." "Did I? I meant the 13th. The explanation felt hollow, but I wanted to believe her. Still, anxiety gnawed at me as the wedding approached. My best friend Tyler noticed my growing tension during our lunch meetings. "Dude, you look stressed. Beyond normal wedding jitters," he observed, 1 month before the wedding. "What's going on?" I explained my concerns about my family's commitment to attending. "That's messed up," Tyler said bluntly. "But listen, no matter what happens, Amanda loves you. I'll be there. Her family will be there. Those are the people who've shown up consistently. Focus on them." His advice made sense, but I couldn't shake the feeling of impending disappointment. 1 week before the wedding, I called my father directly. "Dad, I just wanted to confirm you're still planning to walk with me down the aisle." "Family shows up for family," he said. "Don't worry so much." The vague reassurance did little to calm my nerves, especially when my parents and sister were noticeably absent from the rehearsal dinner the night before our wedding. My future mother-in-law, Susan, created a seating chart with place cards for all 3 of them, which remained untouched throughout the evening. They texted me they couldn't make it last minute, I explained to concerned guests. Something about Heather not feeling well. Tyler gave me a sympathetic look, but said nothing. Amanda squeezed my hand under the table. That night I sent one final text to my entire family. "Looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Ceremony starts at 2 p.m. sharp." Heather replied almost immediately. "We're finalizing plans for tomorrow. See you then." I went to sleep holding onto that message like a lifeline, hoping against hope that finalizing plans meant they were preparing to attend my wedding, not planning to skip it entirely. The morning of my wedding day dawned bright and clear, as if the universe had granted us perfect weather to compensate for my family anxieties. I woke up in a hotel suite surrounded by my groomsmen, who were already cracking jokes and passing around coffee. Tyler, my best man, since 3rd grade, handed me a steaming cup. "Today's the day, man. How are you feeling?" "Good," I lied, checking my phone for the 15th time since waking. No messages from my family. As the morning progressed, my groomsmen kept me busy with preparations, but my attention remained divided. Every few minutes I glanced at my phone, waiting for some indication that my family was on their way. By 11 a.m., with no word from anyone, I decided to call directly. My father's phone went straight to voicemail. "Hey Dad, it's me. Just checking in to make sure you're on schedule. We need to be at the venue by 1 at the latest. Call me back." I tried my mother next. She actually answered, her voice hushed. Davis, honey, good morning. Mom, where are you guys? Are you on your way? We're running a bit late. Heather wasn't feeling well this morning. But you're coming right. Dad's still walking with me. We'll try our very best to make it on time, she said, her voice trailing off. I need to go. Heather needs me. The call ended before I could press further, leaving me with a growing sense of dread. Tyler watched me put down the phone. Everything okay? They're running late, I said the words, feeling inadequate to describe my suspicions. There's still plenty of time, he reassured me, though I could tell he wasn't convinced either. As noon approached, Amanda's father knocked on our suite door. Tom Turner had been more of a father figure to me in 4 years than my own dad had been in 32. How's the groom? He asked cheerfully, then noticed my expression. What's wrong, son? I can't reach my family, I admitted. They're supposed to be here, but they're not answering calls now. Tom's expression shifted to concern. If you need someone to stand in, I'd be honored. Not to replace your father, but as backup. His offer touched me deeply. Thank you. Let's wait a bit longer, but thank you. By 1:30, 30 minutes before the ceremony, I stood fully dressed in my tuxedo, still waiting. The venue coordinator knocked gently on the door. Mr. Wheeler. The guests are seated, but there are still several empty seats in the front row on your side. Should we continue to hold them? Tyler jumped in. Let's give them another 15 minutes. I nodded gratefully, then excused myself to make one last, desperate round of calls. Every family member's phone went unanswered. With growing desperation, I opened Instagram, something I rarely checked, and saw Heather had posted a story 5 minutes earlier. The image showed my mother arranging flowers on a buffet table decorated with baby shower banners. My father stood in the background laughing with relatives I recognized immediately. The location tag showed my parents' house just 20 minutes away. The caption read, "Perfect day to celebrate new life with the whole family." I stared at the screen, unable to process what I was seeing. The timestamp confirmed it had been posted minutes ago, meaning my entire family had chosen to attend my sister's baby shower instead of my wedding. Not just chosen, they had planned it this way. The realization hit me like a physical blow. I stumbled back against the wall, sliding down, until I sat on the floor, still clutching my phone. That's where Tyler found me moments later. Davis. The coordinator says we need to. He stopped when he saw me. What happened? Wordlessly, I handed him my phone. He looked at the screen, then swore under his breath. Those selfish. He stopped himself. I'm so sorry, man. Before I could respond, there was another knock. This time, it was Amanda, still in her bathrobe, hair and makeup complete, but not yet in her wedding dress. Davis, can I come in? Tyler opened the door. Bad timing, Amanda. We're having a situation. I know, she said softly. Your family isn't here. She entered the room, saw me on the floor, and immediately knelt beside me, heedless of her expensive hairstyle. Oh, Davis, she whispered, taking my hands. They're at Heather's baby shower, I said, my voice hollow. All of them, the entire family. They planned it for today. Amanda's expression shifted from sympathy to anger, then back to compassion. What do you want to do? It was the perfect question. Not platitudes, not reassurances, just a simple acknowledgement that this was my pain and my decision. I looked at her beautiful face, at Tyler's concerned expression, and thought about the 100 guests waiting to celebrate with us. People who had chosen to be there. I want to get married, I said finally. To hell with empty chairs. Amanda smiled through tears. That's my guy. We decided to remove the reserved family seating altogether. As Amanda returned to finish dressing, her father reappeared. Davis, I heard what happened. The offer still stands. I took a deep breath. Would you walk with both of us? I think Amanda would love that too. Tom's eyes welled up. It would be my honor. The ceremony began 30 minutes late, but no one seemed to mind. As Wagner's bridal chorus played, I watched Amanda walk toward me on her father's arm, radiant in white. At the midpoint, she extended her hand to me, and I joined them for the remainder of the procession, a united front from the start. When it came time for vows, I went off script. Amanda, I promise to create with you the family we both deserve. One built on presence, not absence, on celebration, not competition, on love that doesn't come with conditions. My voice broke slightly. I promise that our children will never question their worth or their place in our hearts. Amanda squeezed my hands tightly as tears slipped down her cheeks. The rest of the ceremony passed in a blur of emotion, and when the officiant pronounced us husband and wife, the cheers from our guests felt like a collective embrace the family we had chosen surrounding us with genuine joy. Our reception began at 5 p.m. in the estate's renovated barn transformed with twinkling lights and wildflower centerpieces. The dinner tables had been rearranged to eliminate the awkward gaps where my family should have been seated. To casual observers, everything appeared perfect. Amanda's mother, Susan, took charge of welcoming guests, directing them to the revised seating arrangements with such smooth efficiency that few noticed anything amiss. Her kindness throughout the day had been my anchor, from the way she hugged me extra tightly during family photos to her insistence on standing in for the mother-son dance later. "You're our son now officially," she whispered during that hug, and we couldn't be happier. The cocktail hour hummed with conversation and laughter. I moved through the crowd on autopilot, accepting congratulations and making small talk while frequently checking my phone. Still nothing from my family. Most guests were tactful enough not to mention the obvious absence, but a few couldn't resist. "Are your folks stuck in traffic?" asked my father's cousin Stephen, whom I hadn't seen in years. "They couldn't make it," I replied, flatly unwilling to elaborate. "All of them," he pressed, clearly confused. I was saved from responding by Tyler, who materialized at my side with a fresh drink and a well-timed interruption. "Sorry to cut in, but they need the groom for photos." As he led me away, I whispered, "There are no more photos." "I know," he said simply. "You looked like you needed rescuing." The dinner service began with Tyler rising to give his best man speech. I braced myself, wondering how he would navigate the elephant in the room. "I've known Davis since we were 8 years old," he began. "In all that time, I've watched him build himself into someone who values loyalty, honesty, and showing up for the people you love." Tyler paused, scanning the room. Today, Davis and Amanda are surrounded by people who understand those same values, who know that family isn't just about DNA, it's about choice, it's about presence. His words struck directly at my pain while somehow elevating it into something meaningful. I caught his eye and nodded my gratitude. The reception continued, with dancing and cake cutting, all the traditional moments captured by photographers. Yet beneath the celebration, I felt a persistent hollow ache. During a quiet moment between dances, I slipped away to the restroom, needing a brief escape from maintaining my composure. Alone in the elegant bathroom, I braced my hands on the marble sink and finally allowed myself to feel the full weight of the day's betrayal. My shoulders shook with silent sobs as 32 years of seeking approval crashed down on me. The door opened, and Tyler appeared in the mirror behind me. "Thought you might need a minute," he said, leaning against the wall. "Want to talk about it?" "What's there to say?" I wiped my face roughly. "They made their choice crystal clear." "They're lost," Tyler said firmly. "But I get why it hurts. You know what kills me? I still checked my phone 5 minutes ago hoping for some explanation, some emergency that would make this make sense." I laughed bitterly. "But there's nothing except Instagram updates from the shower." Tyler's expression darkened. "They're still posting." I nodded. My Aunt Diane posted a family group photo with the caption, "Complete Wheeler family celebration. Complete. As if I don't even exist." "Screw them," Tyler said with sudden heat. "I mean it, Davis. You've spent your whole life trying to earn a place with people who have never appreciated you. Meanwhile, look out there." He gestured toward the reception. "That room is full of people who chose you, who showed up today. That's your real family." His words resonated with something Amanda had been telling me for years. I straightened up and took a deep breath. "You're right. Let's get back out there." As we returned to the reception, Amanda immediately found me concern evident in her eyes. "You okay?" she asked, touching my face gently. "Getting there," I assured her. "Dance with me." Our first dance became a lifeline, a private moment amidst the celebration. As we swayed to our chosen song, Amanda leaned close to my ear. "Today marks the beginning of our family," she whispered. "One we'll build right, I promise." Those words carried me through the remainder of the reception. As guests began departing around 10 p.m., they formed a tunnel of sparklers leading to our vintage getaway car. Amanda and I ran through the golden light surrounded by genuine cheers and well wishes. Her family enveloped us in final hugs before we departed for our hotel. "We'll see you for brunch tomorrow," Susan reminded us, kissing both our cheeks. "Get some rest." The drive to our hotel was quiet, both of us emotionally drained. In our honeymoon suite, Amanda kicked off her heels while I loosened my tie. "What a day," she sighed, sitting beside me, on the edge of the king-sized bed. "Not exactly how I pictured it," I admitted. "I know." She took my hand. For what it's worth, I thought it was beautiful. Different than planned, but beautiful. I squeezed her hand. "It was beautiful because of you, because of your family, because of Tyler and our friends." "Our family," she corrected gently. "My parents are your parents now, too." Later, as Amanda slept beside me, I lay awake scrolling through the wedding photos our photographer had already shared in a preview gallery. There were stunning shots of Amanda and me against the sunset, surrounded by our wedding party, cutting cake and dancing. One photo in particular caught my attention, a wide shot of our ceremony from the back of the venue. You could clearly see the right side filled with guests, while the left front row remained conspicuously empty. I stared at that image for a long time, feeling something shift inside me. The empty chairs weren't just a symbol of absence, they were a visual representation of my family's priorities. An idea began forming in my mind. Morning sunlight streamed through the sheer curtains of our honeymoon suite, casting a golden glow across the room. Amanda still slept peacefully beside me, her dark hair spread across the pillow. I'd been awake for hours, alternating between watching my new wife sleep and scrolling through social media. My sister had posted more baby shower photos late into the night. There was my father giving Heather an expensive-looking stroller, my mother crying tears of joy as she opened a gift containing baby clothes. Aunts and uncles I hadn't seen in years gathered around my sister with adoring expressions. The same relatives who had RSVP'd yes to our wedding. The anger I'd suppressed yesterday for Amanda's sake bubbled up fresh and hot. This wasn't just a scheduling conflict or a misunderstanding. This was a deliberate choice, a family-wide statement about my place in their hierarchy of importance. Amanda stirred beside me. "Good morning, husband," she mumbled sleepily. "Good morning, wife," I replied quickly, setting my phone aside. She propped herself up on one elbow. "How long have you been awake?" "A while." She studied my face. "You've been looking at their posts, haven't you?" I nodded. They gave her a stroller that costs more than our honeymoon. Amanda sighed. "Davis, we're leaving for Belize tomorrow. Let's focus on that, not on them." "I know you're right," I said, running a hand through my hair. "But I keep thinking about all the guests who must be wondering. All the relatives who chose her shower over our wedding." She sat up fully now. "What are you thinking?" "I'm thinking about posting something," I admitted. Not angry or accusatory, just the truth. Amanda considered this. "If it would help you process, I support you. But are you sure you want to make this public?" "They already made it public with all their shower photos," I pointed out. "I'm just providing context." After breakfast in bed, Amanda went to shower while I returned to the wedding photo gallery. I found exactly what I was looking for, the perfect image that told our story without words. The photographer had captured Amanda and me standing at the altar facing each other and holding hands. The angle showed the side of my face, and Amanda's profile, both of us smiling through tears. But what made the photo powerful was the background, the first 3 rows of seats on my side, completely empty, with a visible, reserved for family sign on the end seat. I downloaded the image and opened Instagram, an app I rarely used. After creating a new post with the photo, I carefully composed a caption. Yesterday I married the love of my life, surrounded by people who chose to be there. The empty seats were reserved for my parents and sister, who decided to attend a baby shower instead, one they scheduled for the same day as our wedding. No emergencies, no explanations. Just empty chairs where family should have been. Today, I'm grateful for the family I've married into, and the friends who have shown me what real support looks like. Sometimes, the absence of certain people makes room for the presence of better ones. My finger hovered over the share button. Was this too much? Too revealing? I reread it twice, making sure it contained no accusations or bitterness, just straightforward facts. You know this will cause waves, Amanda said from behind me, towel drying her hair. I know, I acknowledged, but I'm tired of pretending everything's fine when it's not. Then post it, she said simply. And then turn off your phone. We have brunch with my family in an hour. I pressed share, watched the post upload successfully, then powered off my phone as suggested. Amanda and I dressed casually for brunch, trying to focus on the day ahead rather than the potential fallout from my post. Susan and Tom had arranged a post-wedding brunch at their favorite local restaurant, gathering the wedding party and out-of-town guests for a final celebration before Amanda and I left for our honeymoon the next day. The gathering was warm and relaxed, with everyone sharing favorite moments from the wedding. No one mentioned my family's absence, focusing instead on positive memories. The way Tom walked both of you down the aisle was my favorite part, Amanda's brother Jason said. That's going to be a trend now, mark my words. Tom raised his coffee cup. Proudest moment of my life, walking with both of you. After 2 hours of good food and better company, we said our goodbyes with promises to share honeymoon photos. As guests dispersed, Amanda squeezed my hand. Ready to face your phone? I took a deep breath, as ready as I'll ever be. When I powered on my device in the car, it immediately began vibrating continuously with incoming notifications. The screen showed over 300 new notifications within seconds. Jesus, I muttered, scrolling through the alerts. 325 missed calls and messages. Already, Amanda asked, surprised. It's only been 3 hours. I opened my text messages first. Dozens from my father, the most recent reading, "Call me immediately. You are embarrassing this family." My mother had sent a string of increasingly desperate messages. Davis, please take down that post. You're misunderstanding everything. We had no choice. Heather needed us. Please call me back. Heather's texts were predictably self-centered. How dare you make my baby shower about you? You have no idea the stress I'm under right now. You're trying to ruin my special time because you're jealous. But it wasn't just immediate family. Aunts, uncles, cousins, and family friends I hadn't heard from in years were suddenly blowing up my phone. My father's sister Ellen, who lived across the country and rarely engaged with family drama, sent a different kind of message. Davis, I just saw your post. I'm heartbroken for you. What they did is inexcusable. Call me when you can. I want you to know not everyone in this family agrees with how you've been treated. Former teachers, neighbors from my childhood, and distant connections were commenting on the post with shocked support. I've known the Wheelers for 20 years, and I'm appalled. Davis was always the kindest child. He deserved better than this. I was at that baby shower. No one told us it was your wedding day, too. The post had somehow reached beyond my modest following, spreading through our small hometown social network like wildfire. It's gone viral in Millfield, I told Amanda, somewhat stunned. Are you okay? She asked, watching me carefully. I think I am, I replied, surprised to find it was true. It feels validating. Like finally, everyone can see what I've been experiencing my whole life. My phone rang again, my father for the 12th time according to the log. I declined the call. I'm not ready to talk to them, I decided. Not today. Today is still about us. Amanda nodded. Turn it off again. We have honeymoon packing to do. That evening, as we prepared for our trip, I briefly checked my phone again. The notification count had doubled. A hometown friend messaged that the local online newspaper had picked up the story with the headline, "Social media post exposes family wedding snub." This is getting bigger than I expected, I admitted to Amanda. Does that bother you? I considered the question carefully. No. For the first time, I'm not hiding their behavior or making excuses for it. That feels right. Then stand by it, she said simply, but don't let it consume our honeymoon. I agreed, sending quick thanks to those who had offered support before turning off notifications completely. As we went to sleep on our first full day as husband and wife, I felt an unexpected sense of peace beneath the turbulence. The truth was finally in the open, and somehow that felt like the first step toward whatever came next. Our flight to Belize departed early the next morning. As the plane lifted off, I felt the weight of family drama physically receding with each mile of distance. Amanda dozed beside me, her head on my shoulder, while I gazed out the window watching Connecticut shrink beneath us. We're officially escaping, I whispered, when she woke as we reached cruising altitude. For 10 whole days, she agreed with a sleepy smile. Just us. Despite my best intentions, thoughts of the Instagram fallout continued to intrude during our first day at the beachfront resort. While Amanda explored the infinity pool, I found myself checking my phone, scrolling through the still-mounting reactions. Davis Wheeler, Amanda called from the water. Are you on that phone again? Caught red-handed, I sheepishly put the device away. Last time, I promise. She swam to the edge nearest me. Come here. I approached the pool, and she reached up to take my hand. I know this is a lot to process, she said gently. But can we make a deal? Phone checks only in the morning while I'm still sleeping. The rest of the time, be here with me. In paradise. Her request was reasonable and necessary. Deal. That evening over dinner at the resort's open-air restaurant, Amanda suggested we talk through everything that had happened. Sometimes the only way past something is through it, she reasoned. Let's discuss it all tonight then. Try to leave it behind for the rest of the trip. Over fresh seafood and tropical drinks, I unburdened myself completely. Every childhood disappointment, every missed milestone, every time I'd felt secondary to Heather. It's not just about the wedding, I realized aloud. The wedding was just the final, most public confirmation of a pattern that's existed my whole life. Amanda listened attentively, asking thoughtful questions without judgment. Do you think they realize what they've done? She asked. Not just missing the wedding, but the years of making you feel less important. I doubt it, I replied. My mother's text suggests they still see themselves as the victims in this situation. Like I'm being unreasonable for expecting them at my wedding when Heather needed them. Classic, narcissistic family system, said a voice from the table next to ours. Startled, we turned to find a couple about our age smiling apologetically. Sorry for eavesdropping, the woman said. I'm Sophia, this is my husband James. We couldn't help overhearing, and your story sounded painfully familiar. Under normal circumstances, I might have been annoyed at the intrusion, but something about their genuine expressions made me curious. Familiar, how I asked. James gestured to the empty chairs at our table. Mind if we join you for a drink? We're on our honeymoon too, and I spent mine processing almost the exact same situation. We welcomed them to our table, and over the next 2 hours, James shared his eerily similar story of growing up overshadowed by a golden child brother, culminating in his parents attending his brother's college graduation instead of his wedding, despite the events being a week apart. The difference is, I never called them out publicly, James explained. I just kept making excuses for them, even to Sophia. What changed, I asked. Therapy, Sophia answered bluntly. Lots of it. James finally realized he'd spent 30 years seeking approval from people incapable of giving it. Their perspective was like looking into a possible future, one where I continued seeking validation versus one where I accepted the reality of my family dynamics and built boundaries accordingly. We exchanged contact information before parting ways, promising to stay in touch. That night, lying in bed, listening to the ocean, I shared my thoughts with Amanda. What if I've been approaching this all wrong? What if the problem isn't that I need to try harder or do more, but that I need to expect less from them? That sounds like wisdom to me, Amanda replied, tracing patterns on my chest. Expectations based on who they've consistently shown themselves to be, not who you wish they were. Over the next few days, Amanda and I embraced our honeymoon, fully snorkeling in crystal waters, hiking to hidden waterfalls, and eating our weight in fresh tropical fruit. The distance from home drama proved therapeutic, allowing me space to reflect without reactivity. On our 5th morning during my designated phone check time, I decided to review the accumulated messages more thoroughly. The notifications had finally slowed, but the impact remained substantial. My mother had progressed from defensive to pleading. "Davis, please. This has gotten completely out of hand. The Millfield Journal called your father yesterday. People are saying horrible things about us online. We need to talk." My father had shifted from anger to damage control. "Son, I understand you're upset, but this public airing of family matters has consequences. Your mother is beside herself. Call us so we can resolve this privately." More interesting were the messages from extended family and childhood connections. Great Aunt Martha, my father's elderly aunt, whom I'd always adored, wrote, "I always wondered why they treated you differently. Watching you grow up, I noticed but never said anything. That was wrong of me. I should have spoken up." My 5th grade teacher, Mrs. Bennett, commented, "Davis was always such a thoughtful child. I remember his parents missing his science fair win while attending his sister's soccer game. Even then, I thought it was unfair." Most significant was a long email from my Aunt Ellen, my father's sister. "Davis, what your parents did is inexcusable, but not surprising to me. The same pattern happened in our generation. Your grandmother favored your father over me from the day he was born. Nothing I accomplished ever measured up. When I finally confronted this as an adult, I was labeled too sensitive and dramatic. I moved across the country partly to escape this dynamic. I should have been more present in your life, recognizing what was happening. I'm sorry I wasn't." Her revelation about my grandmother hit me like a thunderbolt. This wasn't just about me and Heather. It was a generational pattern of favoritism being passed down. I shared Ellen's email with Amanda when she woke. "This explains so much," I told her. "It's like they're repeating what they learned." "Understanding the pattern doesn't excuse it," Amanda pointed out, "but it might help you process it differently." "I want to break this cycle," I said firmly. "If we have children someday, I never want them to feel like one is more valued than the other." "We will," Amanda promised. "Being aware of it is the first step." For the remainder of our honeymoon, I drafted and redrafted a response to my family in my mind. Nothing felt quite right. Too harsh, too forgiving, too emotional, too detached. On our last night in Belize, during a sunset dinner on the beach, Amanda asked what I'd decided. "I'm going to wait until we're home," I explained. "I want to respond from a place of clarity, not reaction. And honestly, I want them to sit with this a bit longer. They've had years of me immediately forgiving and moving on. This time is different." Amanda nodded. "I support whatever you decide. Just remember, you don't owe them immediate forgiveness or resolution." As our plane touched down back in Connecticut the next day, I felt a strength I hadn't possessed before, the confidence to face whatever awaited us with new boundaries and clearer expectations. We arrived home to find my parents' car parked outside our apartment building. Amanda spotted them first. "Davis," she warned softly, pointing toward the entrance, where my mother and father stood anxiously scanning the parking lot. My sister sat in the back seat of their car, visibly pregnant. "I guess we're doing this now," I sighed, squeezing Amanda's hand. As we approached, my mother rushed forward. "Davis, Thank God. We've been trying to reach you for days. I was on my honeymoon, I replied evenly. The one you missed the wedding for. My father stepped forward, his expression torn between anger and concern. Can we talk inside? This isn't a conversation for the parking lot. I glanced at Amanda, who nodded subtly. Fine, I agreed. But Heather stays in the car, unless she can be civil. My mother looked ready to object, but my father placed a restraining hand on her arm. That's fair. Inside our apartment, still cluttered with wedding gifts we hadn't had time to organize before leaving, my parents sat stiffly on the edge of our couch. Amanda offered water, which they declined. I'll give you some privacy, she suggested, heading toward our bedroom. No, I said firmly. Anything they have to say can be said in front of my wife. Amanda settled beside me in the armchair, her presence grounding me. My father spoke first. That post was completely inappropriate, Davis. You've humiliated the entire family. Interesting. That's your primary concern, I noted. Not the fact that you missed my wedding for a baby shower you could have scheduled any other day. It wasn't that simple, my mother interjected. Heather's pregnancy has been high risk. Her doctor advised minimizing stress and maintaining routine. Most of the family had already made arrangements for that weekend. For my wedding, I pointed out, which was planned 6 months in advance. We tried to make both work, she insisted. But when Heather had those blood pressure spikes the week before, we had to make a choice. You've been making the same choice my entire life, I said quietly. I just finally stopped pretending not to notice. My father's jaw tightened. That's ridiculous. We've always supported both our children equally. A laugh escaped me before I could stop it. Dad, you've never once attended a single engineering awards ceremony of mine. You missed my college graduation for Heather's swim meet. You promised to walk with me at my wedding, and then didn't even call to say you weren't coming. Those are just isolated incidents, he began. They're a pattern, I interrupted. My entire childhood is filled with examples of Heather's needs, wants, and even preferences taking priority over mine. I kept hoping it would change. That's on me. But missing my wedding was the final straw. My mother wiped away tears. We never meant to make you feel secondary, Davis. We love you just as much as Heather. Actions speak louder than words, Mom. And your actions have consistently shown your priorities. A tense silence filled the room. Amanda gently rubbed my back, her touch steadying me. What do you want from us? My father finally asked. An apology won't change what happened. I want you to understand what you've done, not just at the wedding but throughout my life. I want you to acknowledge the pattern instead of making excuses. And moving forward, I need you to respect the boundaries I'm setting. Boundaries. My mother looked alarmed. Yes, I'm not cutting you off, but our relationship needs to change. I won't keep showing up for people who don't show up for me. I won't keep pretending everything's fine when it's not. This is so unfair, came a new voice. Heather stood in our doorway, one hand on her pregnant belly. You're painting me as the villain when I never asked for any of this. Do you think I enjoyed being the favorite? Do you know how much pressure that puts on a person? Her words stunned me into momentary silence. The favorite, you're claiming being the favorite, was hard on you. Yes, she exclaimed. Everything I did had to be perfect. Every achievement had to be extraordinary. Meanwhile, you got praised just for showing up. Do you have any idea what that's like? Her perception was so wildly different from my experience that I almost questioned my own memories. Almost. Heather, that's simply not true, Amanda said quietly. I've watched this family dynamic for 4 years. Davis has never been praised just for showing up. In fact, he's rarely been praised at all. My sister's face reddened. You don't know our history. I know what I've seen, Amanda replied calmly. And what dozens of people from your hometown confirmed after Davis's post. My mother intervened. Stop, both of you. This isn't helping. She turned to me with pleading eyes. Davis, we made a terrible mistake missing your wedding. We got caught in competing priorities and made the wrong choice. We are deeply, truly sorry. The apology, though imperfect, was the first genuine one I could remember receiving from her. My father cleared his throat. "We want to make this right, son. Tell us how." I considered their question carefully. "I need 3 things. First, acknowledge this isn't an isolated incident, but part of a lifelong pattern. Second, respect that rebuilding trust will take time. Third, understand that my relationship with Amanda and her family comes first now." My parents exchanged glances, seemingly weighing my terms. "We can agree to those conditions," my father said finally. "I'll try," Heather added reluctantly. "But this goes both ways. You need to see things from my perspective sometimes too." It wasn't perfect, but it was a starting point. After they left, Amanda held me as the emotional weight of the confrontation hit fully. "I'm proud of you," she whispered. "Setting boundaries isn't easy, especially with family." The following weeks brought tentative steps toward a new normal. My mother called regularly, making visible efforts to ask about my work and interests before mentioning Heather. My father suggested monthly dinners to reconnect properly. Most surprisingly, my Aunt Ellen flew in from Oregon to spend a week with us. Her insights into the family's generational patterns helped me understand without excusing the behavior. "Your grandmother did the same to me that your parents did to you," she explained over coffee in our apartment. "Some families get caught in these dynamics without realizing the damage they cause." "How did you handle it?" I asked. "Distance therapy and building my own chosen family," she replied. "And eventually, limited contact on my terms. It wasn't perfect, but it protected my peace." Her advice led me to begin therapy myself, both individually and with Amanda as a couple. Dr. Russell helped me process the wedding absence and the deeper patterns it represented. "What you're experiencing is grief," she explained during one session. "Not just for the wedding day, but for the family relationship you deserved and never had." 6 months after our wedding, we attempted the first family dinner with clear boundaries in place. It was awkward, but civil, with my parents making visible efforts to engage equally with both children. Heather, now mother to a baby boy named Ethan, seemed less combative, perhaps too exhausted from new parenthood to maintain old rivalries. As our first anniversary approached, Amanda and I discussed the changes in my family dynamics. "They're trying," I acknowledged. "It's not perfect, but it's progress." "The question is," Amanda said thoughtfully, "are they changing enough for you to feel valued?" I considered her question. "I'm not sure they'll ever be capable of giving me what I needed growing up, but I'm learning that's okay. My worth isn't determined by their ability to see it." That realization was perhaps the most healing of all, the understanding that I didn't need to earn my place in the hearts of those who truly loved me. Amanda, her family friends like Tyler, even new connections like James and Sophia, these people valued me without conditions or comparisons. As we planned our first anniversary celebration, I reflected on how much had changed in a year. The Instagram post that had begun as an act of pain and frustration had ultimately forced a long overdue reckoning. The empty chairs at our wedding had made visible what had been invisible for decades. Sometimes the absence of certain people makes room for the presence of better ones. Those words from my post had proven prophetic. The gaps left by my family's conditional love had been filled by deeper connections with those who loved more completely. "What are you thinking about?" Amanda asked, finding me lost in thought on our balcony one evening. "About how standing up for myself changed everything," I replied. "Not just with my family, but with how I see myself." She smiled, leaning her head on my shoulder. "Good changes." "The best," I confirmed. "I'm building the family I always needed, starting with you." Have you ever had to stand up to your family to protect your own happiness? I'd love to hear your stories in the comments below. If this resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share with someone who might need to hear it. Remember, sometimes the family we choose is more important than the family we're born into. Thank you for listening to my story, and may you find the courage to create the boundaries you deserve.